Today's video is going to be a little bit different because instead of sitting down and talking to you or talking you through my projects, I wanted to take you along with me on a weekend of knitting and just enjoying the summer in one of my favorite places on the planet, which is coincidentally the city I live in, Lviv. It's been 10 years since I moved here, and I moved to Lviv in June of 2015 after finishing my high school exams. I went to university here. I truly can't believe that a decade has passed already. I have been in love with this place. I adore it to pieces, and hopefully by the end of this video you'll understand why. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing so you don't miss my future videos, and let's just spend this time together. I decided I'll start by walking you through what I'll be knitting this weekend. I have two works in progress, and funnily enough, I haven't mentioned either of them on my recent podcast or in my summer knitting plans video, but here we are regardless. The first one is my cloud sweater. This is the back panel with armhole shaping here. This is going to be my second cloud sweater. I finished my first one in February or March, I don't remember, but since then, I think I mentioned it, I wanted to make another one in a bigger size and in a more neutral colorway. I'm knitting it in this Fibranatura Renew wool. This is a Turkish yarn, and I just accidentally stumbled across it in one of my local yarn stores. It's super affordable. This is a non-superwash wool. It's worsted weight and it's 100% wool, but 35% is recycled wool, or as they say, repurposed wool, which kind of is the same thing, and it's not the best quality probably, but for this price I think I'm ready to depill it if I need to. It's gonna be fine. It's super soft, it's not scratchy, it doesn't have any rustic feel to it. I technically bought a sweater quantity of this yarn to make the Upstream sweater, but honestly, when I bought it and when I made a swatch, I realized that I can't really decide if I like the originality of the stitch pattern or the actual sweater and if I'm gonna get any wear out of it. Yeah, I decided that the cloud sweater will be a much more foolproof option since I really wanted to make the second cloud sweater ever since I made my first one and finished the back panel. Now I need to cast on the front panels, or the shoulder panels, to then join it in the round and do the neckline, and it's going to be my really simple stockinette project for this weekend. My second work in progress is the recently released Tulipan tee by Lene, and I'm knitting this for a friend from my knitting group. I was initially supposed to knit a Palme tee for her because she is a knitter herself and she wanted to knit the Palme tee herself, but her lace knitting skills are not quite there yet, unfortunately, and she doesn't have time to practice, so she asked me if I could do it, and I said yes. But we planned this project back in April, and since then, of course, the Tulipan tee was released, so I asked her if maybe she would prefer me knit the Tulipan tee instead, and she did, and it wasn't really a hard switch to do because the needle size, the gauge, the suggested yarn, and overall fit is the same, so I'm really enjoying it so far. There are no complicated lace stitches that you have to do apart from maybe this 2-stitch cable on one of the rounds in the repeat, but otherwise it's super simple, and I'm hoping I can finish the lace yoke by the end of this weekend, but we'll see how it goes. I have been so busy for the past couple of weeks that I wasn't able to get more than half an hour of uninterrupted knitting time. I feel really behind on my knitting, so I'm hoping to pick up the pace if I have enough time. I'm also planning to finally frog and reclaim the yarn from the cashmere cardigan I talked about in my summer knitting plans video. I said that it doesn't have any moth damage, but since I recorded this video, I found this little moth hole in here, and now I'm glad I quarantined it before putting it next to my knitting. Yeah, I just need to find a spot from which I can start frogging it, and I think after I'm done, I will need to steam it, wind it, or steam it, wash it, and maybe then wind it into cakes. I really don't want to wash it, but I think it's a responsible thing to do before knitting with this thrifted, reclaimed yarn. And once I'm done and have it in yarn form, I will do a swatch for the twist loop top. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully I will get gauge. I realized I forgot to mention which yarn I'm using for the Tulipan tee. I'm using this Drops Belle yarn, which we settled on with my friend who I'm knitting this for. I got a comment after I talked about this yarn in a podcast that it's actually not similar to Lene. Apparently the quality is much worse, but I can't really verify that. For me, they feel the same while I'm knitting with them, especially tactile-wise. The gauge is the same, the fabric is really similar, so I don't know, maybe I'll change my mind once I finish this garment and block it. For now, I still consider it to be a dupe to Sandnes Garn Lene, and I'm using this buttery yellow color. It's not a true butter yellow, it's a lot more pale. I'm not really a fan of this super trendy butter yellow because I immediately think of this blanket from The Exorcist that Reagan had, and I just think about this blanket because it was this like fleece butter yellow color, and yeah, I'm not a fan of that colorway if you're interested by any chance. Also, there seems to be a mistake in the Tulipan tee yoke chart. I'm not really sure if it's my mistake and I'm doing something wrong or there's actually an error. So according to the chart for this round, I need to do a yarn over, then 3 stitches, then a yarn over, and then 14 stitches, and then kind of repeat. But if I do that, my V's, this like yarn over V portion, is completely off center, and as far as I understand, being this, you know, really advanced intuitive lace knitter, I have to have them in the same symmetrical spot, so I'm not really sure. I'm doing 15 instead, so I feel like there should be 15 stitches and not 14, but when I knit more of this chart and move kind of past this round, I'll be able to tell if everything kind of lines up with me doing 15 stitches instead of 14, and I'll let you know. So we are finally out, and we decided that we will go to a Japanese place that has recently opened, and we actually were waiting for it to open for more than 3 months. They always said on their Instagram that they will open at the end of the month, but which one they didn't actually specify. So we finally saw that they're open, and we decided to check them out because my boyfriend is a huge Asian food enthusiast, and they have apparently the best ramen in the city, but we'll see about that. I'm not actually as much of a foodie as he is, but I'm still interested to check it out. And yeah, it's a nice day out, a little bit windy, but I have my dead cat, as I realized it's called, which is actually appalling and horrifying, but whatever. I hope the audio is okay. I'm not used to filming myself outside. Anyway, we'll go have some ramen, and I'll see you then. So apparently today is the first day they're opened, and we got ourselves this tonkotsu ramen, which is more flavorful, and also this shio ramen, which is supposed to be the lightest or like the mildest. I'm not actually a fan of ramen, to be honest. I'm so sorry. It's too strong for me. It's like too rich. But anyway, we'll try it.
Супер, люкс. Дуже смачна локшина. Свинина дуже добра. Дуже смачно.
Oh, look at him go, look at him go. How would you rate this from 1 to 10?
I think that's solid 9.
Solid 9.
Yes, out of 10.
My rating is actually going to be 8 out of 10 because the ramen is really, really good, but I'm gonna have to deduct 2 points because they have no beer. Because I think that ramen goes perfectly with beer. I'm gonna have to say that there is room for improvement. I'm not the one who makes the rules, so yeah. Bon appétit. Well, good morning, it's Sunday, and even though knitting in public day is over, I am yet to actually knit in public. I was just too busy while we were out. It wasn't really time to knit anything, even though I took my Tulipan tea with me. Hopefully I can pick up the pace today, and when we got back home, I did work on my cloud sweater, so let me show you my progress. So I picked up stitches for the front yesterday and did the short row shaping here at the shoulders and joined it for the neckline here. And now I need to just add more length so I can join the back piece and the front piece together to start knitting in the round. I also added a few extra rows here when I was doing the shaping, because even though I like the fit of my first cloud sweater, I sometimes feel like the neckline or like the neck opening is too narrow, so I wanted to just make it a little bit wider in this portion. But because I did that, I needed to actually cut my yarn and start knitting from the opposite direction on my right shoulder, because I needed to make sure that I have an even number of rows on both the right shoulder and the left shoulder. But it's not going to be that big of an issue. I can just hide the extra ends, and this yarn can be spliced, which is a big plus because it really cuts down the number of ends you have to weave in. Also, I did this pearl ridge, or this like reverse stockinette ridge. I didn't actually do it on the previous cloud sweater. I did a garter stitch edge here on the shoulder, but here I think I'll follow the pattern's directions and also add this reverse stockinette ridge when I start knitting the sleeves. I think I'm gonna take this project with me today when we go out. I first of all need to pick up my computer from the repair shop because editing took a huge toll on my poor old laptop and it started launching into space. I had to take it to the repair shop and picking it up today. I was horrified when I found out that all this time the soft skin effect was on. It was on by default, so if you saw it in the previous footage, I really apologize. I know it looks really tacky, but I just wasn't able to see it on the smaller screen. But now that I will have my laptop back, I'll finally start editing this video, and I'm really excited about that because I do have a new camera. Also, yesterday was a really weird day houseplant wise. I'm not a huge plant parent. I'm actually not a plant parent at all. I know nothing about plants, mostly because for 9 years I had a wonderful cat who was destroying every plant she came across, and I just kind of gave up on trying to have houseplants. She passed away in 2022, and since then I kind of got into a habit of not having any houseplants, and then one day it kind of dawned on me that she's gone, so I can just, have a plant. Yesterday I picked up an aloe vera plant at the market, also like a random succulent as well. Then when I was getting back from the market, it was so weird, like right near the dumpster I saw that somebody just threw away a jade plant. So of course I picked it up. In Ukraine they call this one money tree. I don't really know if it's in a bad shape or if it's in a good shape. I, as I said, know nothing about plants. The soil was pretty dry, so I gave it a little, sprinkle of water. My friend who knows a lot more about plants than me said that I probably need to cut out these like hanging leaves and propagate them, I think that's what you call them. But basically she says that they are just kind of straining the plant, like you don't need them. And yeah, I feel like it's in good condition, so I have a jade plant now, and I think I'm gonna put it out on the balcony for now so it gets enough like sunlight. But maybe sunlight is bad for it now, I'm not sure. I'll have to ask for some semi-professional help from my friends who are better at keeping houseplants than me. You know what? I completely forgot. I also bought this plant, which I have no idea what's it called. I do have a label, so I'm probably going to put it on the screen. Since I bought it, it sprouted this really long and weird flower, which I have no idea what to do with. Like, should I cut it off? Should I put it in some water? If you know, please let me know, because I'm afraid I'm gonna do something bad to this plant. And speaking of my plant destroyer cat, here she is. I commissioned this portrait of her after she passed away, and she's always right here looking over us. I miss her every single day, and she was a really, really wonderful cat. So after I pick up my laptop, our plan is to actually go to a folk architecture museum. It's like this open air museum here in Lviv, even though, as I said, I've lived here for 10 years. I haven't been there even once, or no, I actually visited this museum one time, and it was like in 2010 when I was on a school trip, so I think that doesn't count. It's kind of out of our way because it's farther away from the city center and the neighborhood we live in, so we would have to take a dedicated walk to get there. And the thing you have to understand about Lviv, or like me living in Lviv specifically, I barely use public transport or like any form of transportation besides my legs. It's a super pedestrian friendly city, at least here in like the city center and like closer to the city center. Everything I need is in like 15-minute walk proximity, so I'm not even sure what's the ticket price or like a fair price for the public transport because I barely use it. It was actually one of the reasons I moved here in the first place, because I come from a city that is adjacent to Kyiv, and every time you had to go somewhere, you had to take this like hour-long commute that included a bus and the subway and then probably another bus or like a longer walk, so had to like account for at least 2 hours of, you know, travel time like back and forth. When I visited Lviv for the first time, I think in 2013 or 2012, I immediately fell in love with how compact everything is and how you can just easily walk from place to place. But anyway, I'm rambling at this point. As I said, we're gonna go to this open air museum. Before that, I think we'll grab some coffee, and I'm gonna take my knitting with me, my cloud sweater, and yeah, I'll catch up with you later. For a while, so enjoy it while you can. I just don't feel like dressing up today or, you know, doing anything to it. But let's start with the positives. We had a wonderful time at that outdoor museum on Sunday. I'm filming this on a Tuesday, and I'm a bit mad at myself for not remembering about that place sooner, because it's just a really chill place. It's right outside the city center, but it feels like you're somewhere in the countryside. They have historic houses that were kind of reassembled in that park/museum. Some of them are replicas, but some churches, as far as I understand, are authentic from the 19th century Ukrainian, like, traditional countryside. It's a lot of ground to cover, so we weren't able to visit all of the sites, but we'll definitely be back. It also has something they call a zoo corner, but it's basically a barn. They have goats and sheep and a horse, which was really sassy, and also a donkey who completely ignored us, which is a shame because I love donkeys. I love them even more than horses, to be honest. They're really, really cute. I wish I could film there more, but it just got so hot all of a sudden. I was so naive to think that I could wear my waffle loop sweater. I'm really glad I changed into a t-shirt instead, because otherwise I would have been cooked. And I almost forgot that I was filming a vlog, so maybe it's not as much footage as I would have liked, but still, it's a really nice, beautiful place. We were so exhausted when we got back home. We pretty much called it a night and just laid down to watch The Simpsons. It was a really productive time knitting-wise, because I was able to join my cloud sweater in the round, so now it's just an endless stockinette project. This is what it looks like now. I need to weave in these extra ends that I have because I cut my yarn, then I can just continue working on it. I like to weave in my ends as I go, because otherwise I get kind of overwhelmed by the amount of ends I need to weave in before blocking. So I try to take breaks every once in a while to weave in the extra ends. Then I put this project aside, and on Monday I mostly worked on the Tulipan tee. The lace yoke is now completely finished, and a really surprising update that nobody could have predicted is, of course, that there is no mistake in the chart. I made a mistake. I did an extra yarn over in one of the V's here, and I had a fun time frogging back and trying to fix it, but once I fixed it, it was smooth sailing. It's a really easy stitch pattern to remember. And now I just need to add a couple more rounds of raglan increases before I can split for body and sleeves, and I think I'll be working on this project mostly right now because I do need to finish it probably before the month is over to give it to my friend. And yeah, I wasn't able to start frogging the cashmere cardigan, which is a shame, but I just didn't have enough hours in a day to do it. I'm still gonna do it this week because I'm so excited to finally start knitting something summery for myself. And since it got so hot, I'm kind of over the cloud sweater project for now. I might pick it up when it gets rainy or like more chilly than right now, but when the sun is out, I really need something summery to work on. Also, I'm waiting for a very exciting yarn package to reach me. I got a notification from the post office that it's going to be here tomorrow. I'm really excited to pick it up because I had my birthday at the beginning of June, and my dad gave me this like virtual envelope with explicit instructions to spend the money on yarn, and I obliged. And because I feel like my stash isn't lacking at the moment, mostly since I bought new yarns for my summer projects, I wanted to try something I haven't knit with before, something maybe I couldn't afford before, and I bought myself some really fancy yarn. My friend Alona helped me ship it from Poland. I'm really excited for it to arrive, but I'm trying to disassociate from how much I paid for it. I'm not used to paying knitting for olive prices for yarn, so I'm curious to see if it will live up to the fancy price. I have a really healthy habit of not checking the news in the morning, so I woke up really early this morning to do some editing before work. I had a blissful couple hours of editing and just enjoying my morning, getting ready for the day, but then I did check the news, and I was really debating with myself whether I should mention this or not, but there was an attack on Kyiv this morning, and I almost fainted or threw up or both when I realized that one of the buildings that were hit is clearly on my dad's street. These apartment blocks all look the same, so I was trying to figure out if it's his building or not, and turns out it's like the second building down the street. So it's his building, another building, and then the building that was hit. So it's about like, I don't know, 200 meters away at most. My dad was supposed to get a leave from the army, like a vacation sort of, but it didn't get approved. But if it had been, we would have been in Kyiv with my boyfriend in that apartment this morning, and my dad would have been there as well, and my sister would have been there as well. So I'm just trying to process all this, and I also feel really silly for spending all weekend thinking about knitting and yarns and filming a vlog and being happy about my new camera while life is what it is. And like, I feel like my English skills are sufficient enough to talk about most things, but here I'm just kind of lost for words. So I'm not even sure why I'm recording this, but again, I feel like I need to keep it real, I guess. And it hasn't been the easiest for these past 3 years it's been. So yeah, I'm not really sure I'll be able to knit anything today or do anything productive. I'm gonna cut myself off here because I feel like you deserve a proper ending to this video and not just me sobbing for 2 minutes. So instead, I wanted to thank you for watching this video until the end and being here. My knitting and this channel in particular has been such a welcome distraction during this time, and I'm so grateful to have both of them as my creative outlet. I have also met so many wonderful, talented, and inspiring knitters through my channel, so I feel like this is what the internet has been made for, to just connect with people from all over the world who have the same interests as you, or different interests to you, to just share your knowledge, share your frustration sometimes, just share the inspiration. I will get back on track because mostly I feel I don't have any other choice besides to just keep going. So I will be back with more knitting videos. I'm gonna try my best to find joy in the small things, in the silly things and beautiful things, no matter what, and be defiant through it. Please let me know if you would like to see more vlogs because I really enjoyed editing this one. Seeing the footage from this weekend has really picked me up, to be honest. I feel like I have a virtual postcard of Lviv that I get to keep forever. I hope you've been having a wonderful summer so far. Thank you so much again for watching, for being here. Happy knitting, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.